So, what if I told you that your dream vacation might actually be helping to destroy the very place you traveled all that way to see? It sounds crazy, right? But we're going to unpack this hidden crisis in tourism. This problem where our love for beautiful places is, well, pushing them right to the brink.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You save up for months, you book the trip, you are so excited. And you finally arrive at that picture-perfect landmark, only to find yourself swimming in a sea of selfie sticks, just fighting to get a glimpse of the view. Yeah, that feeling, that exact sense of disappointment, that's really at the heart of the problem we're talking about today. Okay, so let's dive into what's really going on here. It's something called the tourism paradox. And it's this tricky situation where for so many communities, the very industry that brings in jobs and money, I mean, it's their economic lifeline, is also the very thing that threatens their entire way of life. And this quote really just hits the nail on the head. I mean, the good side is obvious, right? Money, jobs, new investments, that's all great. But the bad side? That's a lot more complicated. It's not just about bumping into other tourists. It's about the slow erosion of daily life for the actual people who call these amazing places home. And the sheer scale of this, honestly, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Get this. By 2030, we're projected to see 1.8 billion international tourist visits every single year. Think about that. That's more than a fifth of the entire world's population on the move, which just blows this paradox up to a truly global scale. And all of this really brings us to the core problem. It's a phenomenon that some people have described pretty perfectly, I think, as loving places to death. And yeah, it's happening in the places we cherish most, from ancient cities to untouched natural wonders. So the official term for this whole thing is overtourism. And what it really is, it's that tipping point. It's when the number of visitors just becomes completely unsustainable. And not just for the locals, it becomes unsustainable for the tourists themselves and, of course, for the very environment that made the place so special to begin with. All right, let's take a look at a classic example, Venice. You've got this incredibly delicate, totally unique city, and it sees 23 million visitors a year. Now, to really put that number into perspective, imagine the entire population of Australia descending on a fragile city that's actually smaller than most big international airports. It's just staggering. But here's the kicker. It's not just the total number that's the problem. It's who these visitors are. A whopping 90% of them are just day trippers. So they flood the city's narrow streets and ancient bridges for a few hours, putting this incredible strain on the infrastructure. But they often contribute way, way less to the local economy than the people who actually stay overnight. And look, this isn't just a European city problem. Let's jump over to Peru, to Machu Picchu. The sheer volume of foot traffic there became so damaging that authorities had to step in and impose a really strict limit, just 2,500 visitors a day. Why? To protect the ancient stonework from literally being worn away by footsteps. Incredible. So you can see how the consequences just ripple outwards. You're talking about strained public services, real physical damage to priceless heritage sites, and of course, pollution. But it ruins the experience for everyone, doesn't it? I mean, when you're stuck in a massive crowd, shoulder to shoulder, how can you possibly have that authentic, magical moment that you came all that way for? Okay, but this isn't just a story of doom and gloom. Not at all. Because as the problem has become clearer, well, so have the potential solutions. The whole conversation is shifting. We're moving away from just trying to manage the problem and toward actively creating a much smarter way forward. And here's the big idea, the central point. The answer isn't to stop people from traveling. No way. It's about fundamentally redesigning how we do it. And that means we have to move beyond just sustainable tourism, which is basically about trying not to cause any harm, and towards something called regenerative tourism. And that's an approach that actively tries to make a place better. The goal is to create what this research calls smart ecoregions. Okay, think of it like this. The old model, mass tourism, it's kind of like a vacuum cleaner. It's extractive, it just sucks resources and culture right out of a place. But this new smart ecoregion model, it's more like a watering can. It's regenerative. The whole point is to nurture the community and the environment, to create a system that's balanced, authentic, and in the end, way more resilient.
All right, so how does this actually work in the real world? What does it really take to turn a crowded hotspot into a thriving, smart ecoregion? Well, let's break it down.
So it's really built on a few core principles.
First off, this isn't just about planting a few trees. It's a whole nature-based approach, and it's managed using technology and big data. But here's the most important part. This can't be some top-down solution dictated from on high. It absolutely requires deep community involvement and new kinds of partnerships. And they all have to be focused on one thing, preserving the local identity and improving the quality of life for the residents, not just for the tourists. To make this a little more concrete, let's take a place like Santorini. What this research suggests is that they could use tech, like mobile apps, to do some really smart things. They could manage the flow of people in real time to avoid those huge crowds, they could track resource consumption, and they could even offer visitors deals or discounts for making more eco-friendly choices. See, it's all about using tech to nudge everyone towards smarter behavior. And this isn't just a bunch of nice ideas either. There's actually a practical 7-step roadmap to make this happen. It's a really logical process. You start with the foundational stuff, like figuring out who's in charge and getting a clear picture of what's actually happening right now. And then you can dive into creating, and this is the crucial part, actually following through on a real plan. It's all about building a solid foundation so that the change actually lasts. So what does all this mean for the future of how we travel? I mean, transforming the entire global tourism industry, that's a huge, monumental task, and it definitely isn't without its challenges. And these are the big hurdles we're facing. You've always got resistance to change, right? Especially from people who are benefiting from the broken system we have now. Finding the long-term funding, that's always tough. And so critically, these solutions can't be a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. They have to be carefully tailored to each unique local culture. And that means, again, true collaboration with local communities, not just orders from the top. And so, at the end of the day, we're left with this really essential question. The desire to go out and explore our world is such a powerful, beautiful part of being human. The challenge now, for all of us, from governments to businesses, all the way down to you and me as travelers, is to figure out how we can keep satisfying that curiosity without destroying the very things we set out to see and love in the first place.